Okay, we've talked about the importance of a culture and the role the management team plays in creating it in the first place and portraying it. But you know, that management team also has some important things to do, roles they have to fulfill, responsibilities they have to carry out. So I thought it'd be important to talk about them and what is to be expected of this early management team of a company. So let's start with roles. The first role is kind of an obvious one. They got to carry out the role of a founder. If there's a single founder or there's two or three or more, they have a role to play in the company. They're the ones setting the culture, remember? As we talked about in a previous presentation on the importance of culture. But the founders have also the role of being the leaders of the company and communicating that leadership. But first and foremost, they have to be a team themselves. These people, if there's more than one, these people have to get together and decide amongst them what is the vision, mission, goals, near term and long term, and be in alignment on it, be in agreement that these are the things that are most important to the company. If these founders are not in alignment with one another, there's going to be a lot of trouble later in sorting out the conflicts that are going to arise between them. That wouldn't be a very good situation. So before you get going with this startup company, as the founders of the company, you got to be sure that you all get along with each other, that you're in alignment and in agreement on the fundamental strategy of the company, its early operations, what market you're going to go after, how you're going to go after, through what channels, all of these basic things that you cannot be spending a lot of time arguing about once you get started. Kind of have that figured out from the beginning. Make sense? So once you've got yourselves in alignment, let's go through some of the roles that have to be carried out. The one that first comes to mind for me is marketing. One of the individuals has to be in charge of marketing. Even though you may subcontract a lot of the marketing tasks out to marketing experts, someone in the company has to be managing a relationship and be in charge of the direction of marketing of the company. That person really owns the marketing strategy. Whether they're marketing experts or not, someone in the company has got to lead this effort, take charge, and direct the marketing strategy of the company. They own it. If you're subcontracting a lot of the marketing work, that ownership does not go away. You just don't farm it out and say, okay, you subcontractors figure all this out for us, please. If you don't have someone on the startup team, the original founders of the company, that know a lot about how to do marketing, get someone, bring them into the company. One of the most valuable players you're going to have is somebody who knows how to reach the market and in the markets you want to go after. So take charge. If you need an expert in marketing, hire one, bring them into the founding team even, perhaps. But certainly bring them on as your first major addition to the company. The next one that follows, of course, is sales. Once you've got some leads, you need to sell to them. But sales is a rather complicated one. In your overall strategy with your company, you've decided what sales channel you're going to have. This could be a direct sales channel where you have sales people inside selling from within the company and selling directly to the customer, like in a B2B kind of situation. Whatever your sales strategy is, you need the expert in the company that knows how to carry that out. Again, if you don't have that kind of person, get one. Bring them in as the head of sales, and in the form of sales that is the right one for your company. So this person would be in charge of that. Of course, if one of the founders is an expert in this, you're done. That person takes charge of sales. But if you're not experts in sales, which is often the case, bring someone in who is. So if you've got a founding team and you're weak in marketing and sales, bring experts into the company to handle those two tasks. As is often the case, before a company is founded, a lot of product development has already been done in order to be able to launch the business in the first place. But nevertheless, There needs to be someone who on an ongoing basis is in charge of the development of a product or a service. If it's a product that you're delivering, software or hardware, you need the right kind of individual who has a lot of experience in development, knows how to make the trade-offs in architecture, design, and development alternatives, knows the development process that's appropriate for either hardware or software. There's the third one, services. Services run on methodologies. Those are developed by someone in the company who knows how to put together a services process that is going to be repeatable and executed by a team of people that know how to perform the services. So have the right kind of individual in the company, or if you don't, bring one in that knows how to do the development of whatever it is that you're selling, hardware, software, or services. Make sure that you got a seasoned individual that knows how to do this so that you don't get hoodwinked by poor decisions later. Of course, if you're developing a hardware product of some kind, it's going to have to be manufactured. Now, this is also got to be done by an expert who has experience in manufacturing, either domestically or internationally, whatever's going to be appropriate for whatever it is you're making. Having the right kind of manufacturing skill is going to be important to you for the kind of manufacturing that you're going to have to do. You're going to need someone who has connections in the industry, knows how to do off-site and offshore manufacturing if that's going to be appropriate for you. Someone who knows manufacturing process, can make the proper trade-offs, select the right vendors, select the right parts suppliers, and the list goes on. Someone who really knows how to do this kind of work is going to be key to you. Get one. Paired with manufacturing, it may be the same person as you have for manufacturing, but when you make something, you got to store it somewhere. You got to put it in a building somewhere, warehousing. So that in and of itself is important in that you may also have a challenge in distribution. So warehousing and distribution kind of go together, that you manufacture your product and warehouse it for later distribution to whatever sales channels are existent for your company. If you're managing a distribution channel for a retail product, you're going to have fulfillment also be carried out by this person. So someone who knows a lot about warehousing, distribution, and fulfillment, they all kind of go together for your business. Having that individual, a subcontractor, you may not need this kind of person in your company at the onset, but someone who really knows a lot about this subject and for the market you're going after. All of three of these disciplines are going to be very important to you to get a product out the door and in the hands of someone who's actually going to fulfill it by delivering it to a customer. So finally, there's this potpourri of things I just characterize as administration. This is a set of people that carry out many important things for your company. For example, legal work. Your company should have been formed properly. You may have the need for the capitalization of your company through multiple different stockholders. You need a good lawyer to put together that whole thing for you. You may need to be very aware of labor laws and labor practices that are appropriate for your company. You certainly are going to have lots of contracts that you're going to have developed for you and that are appropriate for the state that you're in and for the subject that you're on. You need contracts with subcontractors for many of the tasks that I've just gone through. A good corporate attorney is what you need. Another sometimes time-consuming task is that of bookkeeping and accounting. If the founders of the company do not have expertise in this, or better yet, really don't have the time for it because they need to be running the business, bringing on board as a subcontractor a really good bookkeeper is probably the way to go. A really well-qualified, experienced bookkeeper, particularly in your market arena, is going to be very useful for you. That this person can keep track of the books, give you the reporting that you need in order for you to understand financially where you stand. You don't want to run out of money, do you? This person will help you know what your financial situation is, what your cash flow is, where your spending is and isn't, and help you get ready for an accountant to actually do your tax returns at the beginning of the next year. They can put together all the materials for the accountant, the CPA accountant that's going to do your taxes. So have a good accountant as a subcontractor to your business. Administrative tasks that have to do with the actual running of the company, the administrative running of the company, setting up of meetings and things like that. You may need a virtual assistant. Particularly the top people of the company may share a virtual assistants for the administrative things that they're going to be responsible for. You want the top level people working on the business and have administrative people handle the administrative tasks that are going to have to support that activity. So having an administrative person as a subcontractor may be the best way to go. Later on, far down the road, you may bring a full-time person on board for that kind of activity. So at the onset of a company, it's very important that you have the founders aligned with one another and they're ready to go, and they are in agreement on the vision, the mission, and the strategy of the company. And you have a team of people that can execute. I always say get A players. Those get the best to fulfill the roles that I've just taken you through. It's very, very important. Have the best people that are actually better than you at some of these tasks. That's the A team that you need. And while you're doing that, have a great day.